Your Honor, the defense will prove today, beyond any reasonable doubt, that the defendant knowingly and willfully committed numerous violations of the Motor Vehicle and Traffic Acts.
Your Honor, I would first of all like to inform you that I have come here today in peace and honor by special appearance only. Be it known to the courts that I am a flesh and blood human being with unalienable rights inherited upon to me by the Creator. Furthermore, I claim common law jurisdiction and protest that no crime was committed by me, myself or I.
Sir, the record states that you were stopped while driving without a license and insurance. Do you agree that this statement is factual and correct?
Sir, first of all, I was traveling, not driving. Secondly, I do not carry such a thing that you refer to as a license and insurance. It is actually my belief that I was arbitrarily detained, harassed, and arrested, with no due cause or action. I furthermore believe that my fundamental human rights have been trampled upon, or ignored or perhaps even unknown by the arresting officer. Are not all peace officers instructed to observe and uphold fundamental human rights and keep the peace?
We are here to deal with the issue of your violations of the Motor Vehicle Act. You just admitted that you do not have a license and insurance. Is that not correct?
That is correct. I do not have any such license or insurance. I was traveling in peace from point A to point B.
You do know that it is the law that you are required to have a driver's license and insurance to operate a motor vehicle, do you not?
I do not understand any such law. Furthermore, and once again, I am not a driver, nor do I operate a motor vehicle. I travel. I travel by automobile.
What is it you do not understand? You were the person who was driving the car, were you not? Therefore you are the person who is bound by the law to the regulations of the Highway Traffic and Motor Vehicles Act. Do you understand this?
I do not understand. I was traveling. I do not believe there is such a law that requires me to forfeit my fundamental human right to travel.
You were observed as driving without valid registration for your vehicle, or without a license plate. In other words, do you have a license plate for your vehicle, sir?
For the last time, I was not driving, I was traveling. I do not have a license plate as I do not have a need for one.
Everyone registers their car and affixes a plate. What makes you think you are any different?
The Amish folks don't get driver's licenses, and they use the roadways.
But they don't operate lethally dangerous motor vehicles either. They also don't have the expensive fuel, oil, tires, tune-ups and so forth. If you're going to operate a car or truck, you must get a license. If you don't want to, then you should trade in your car for a horse and buggy.
Are not all human beings born equal, and free, and equality before the law is paramount? Do I have a fundamental right to freedom and security? Is it a fundamental human right to privacy? Is it a fundamental human right to travel?
I can agree that you do have certain rights, as does everyone else. However, while residing in this country, you must observe this country's laws and statutes. In this particular case, you have knowingly violated numerous highway traffic and motor vehicle acts. For the offense of no operator's license, the county court has attached a liability to you in the amount of $299.99 and has assigned it to the Department of Revenue for collection.
What is freedom if one is not free to move from point A to point B, unregistered and unlicensed?
The point is that you are not licensed and qualified to operate a motor vehicle. You could have hurt someone.
That's an interesting point you make. It brings to question. Can you please tell me who the injured party is in this case?
Luckily no one was injured, but in this case, it is the state.
Who are you here to represent today?
The state.
Does that not seem like a conflict of interest?
No.
Would you say the state and courts are considered to be an observance of statutory law?
Yes.
Would you say the state and courts are also an observance of common law, the law of all men and women, the common law of all human beings?
Yes, of course.
For the record, I claim common law jurisdiction, and I do not consent to your, or anyone's governance over me. I do not consent. Furthermore, upon confrontation with the peace officer, I had clearly asked him if he was a peace officer, and if he had sworn an oath. To this he replied yes. I furthermore asked the officer if he had observed me breach the peace. When he said that I was not in fact breaching the peace, but rather violating a Motor Vehicle Act law, I informed the officer that I hereby exercise my common law right to refuse intercourse with a peace officer who has not observed me breach the peace. Let the record show that upon detention and arrest, I clearly informed the arresting officer, I am a peaceful man. If you are going to arrest me, there will be no need to use force. But you are obliged to note, for the record, that I go with you under protest and duress. I reserve all of my rights and waive none of them. I am not consenting, but I am also not resisting.
I and the courts understand your position, sir. However, in this court of law, you are to abide by this court's and country's laws, acts and statutes.
Is this court blind to common law rights and specifically the right to travel freely?
Sir, if you are traveling on the highways of this country, you must follow the rules of the road, along with the rules of the Motor Vehicle Act, which includes obtaining a driver's license, as well as insurance of your person and vehicle.
Please do tell me, is a driver's license considered as commercial? Also, what is its function?
A commercial driver's license is to protect public safety.
Why do you think only drivers of commercial vehicles need demonstrate driving competence?
If drivers were not to undergo vigorous testing procedures and demonstrate a competency, the roads would not be safe to travel upon. A license and testing satisfies everyone and reduces the dangers.
Are other drivers or travelers any less dangerous? Why? And what are your legal references to support any of your claims and arguments in logic or law?
If you do not feel it necessary for a driver's license, would you deem it necessary for a driver competency testing certification course? This way we can establish through the Department of Motor Vehicles the competency of your driving to safely exercise your driving privileges.
Sir, you must understand, I do not drive or operate a motor vehicle, I travel via automobile. I want to explain to you, sir, exactly what my position is, backed up with both logic and law. The right to travel freely and move about within a geographic entity in which one resides has deep historical roots. When Moses entreated Pharaoh to let my people go, he was invoking the right to travel. Article 42 of the Magna Carta, dated and formed in 1215, recognized a right to foreign travel. The concept was implicitly considered a right